Dae-rung attacks head-on with all of his strength, and Seo-cheon blocks the attack with his sword, using what looked like a purple haze. As Dae-rung is dumbfounded, Gupeng stabs him from behind with his sword. However, he destroys the whole ship in order to drown everyone. While everyone is safe, Seo-cheon and Seong-kyu are missing. Next, we see that 3 weeks later, the merchants are full of joy with all the money they have earned. The petty merchant says he wanted to repay Seo-cheon his debt, but he was dead. But then, there is a knock on the door and someone arrives. It is no other than Seo-cheon and Seong-kyu. They were swept by the waters and have now returned to Guizhou. We see that they now plan on raiding the treasure tomb of the 3 spiritual minds. Meanwhile, Gupeng regrets and keeps on apologizing to Seo-cheon's master as he failed to protect him. Little did he know, Seo-cheon had already sent a letter to him to confirm his safety and keep it a secret. Now, at the Golden Merchant Organization, a team of warriors of the merchant is ready to raid the tomb. Next, we see that the team has now arrived at a deserted location. Seong-kyu, with his expertise, easily found the entrance to the tomb. Guiding and leading everyone inside, Seo-cheon and Seong-kyu play an important role in the success of this raid. The warriors see how dependable both the kids are. Seong-kyu identifies that there are booby traps placed all over. Haha, booby traps! They now encounter wooden soldiers lined up. As Seo-cheon steps forward, they attack him. Seong-kyu points out that they are also machines and are triggered through a mechanism. Seo-cheon proceeds to destroy them all. As they proceed, they now enter the treasure room filled with silver coins. There are traps set there as well. Seo-cheon notices a small chest and finds something interesting. Suddenly, they are now attacked by what appear to be witchcraft soldiers. It is then explained that they are tougher than the wooden soldiers. Seo-cheon guides the warriors to cut off their limbs to defeat them. He single-handedly defeats most of them, and the warriors are amazed. He finds an interesting item which looks like a small bracelet and decides to keep it. Next, we see that while everyone takes a break, Seong-kyu asks the warriors why they would endanger their lives to raid this tomb for money. Every warrior shares a sad story and how they want to protect and provide for their loved ones. The team now approaches another treasure room filled with gold coins. Seo-cheon finds amazing valuable items here. A few of them are the Shaolin drug booster, different secret techniques, and the most special is the sword Yahan. After 2 days, we see the team is still wandering in the tomb. They now approach a door with the 3 spiritual mind symbols. As Seo-cheon moves the handle, the door opens to a room. It is observed that a man-like creature is standing there. It is no other than 3 spiritual minds himself. In the form of a zombie, he attacks Seo-cheon and is a strong, formidable opponent. They now fight furiously. The 3 spiritual minds seem to be overpowering Seo-cheon, but then he uses a new technique. Seo-cheon takes a hit and purpose to grab him, and then unleashed Violet Sunset Sword Art, First Form, Genesis. Injured badly, but he defeats the zombie of the 3 spiritual minds. He is filled with joy as he defeated a legendary thief and passes out. He wakes up 3 days later and recovers with the help of the Shaolin drug booster. He finds an ever more valuable treasure in the room, the Prana Divine Arts of the Shaolin Temple, an art surpassed by none. The team now heads back to the merchant. He is surprised when Seo-cheon lets him keep all the treasure. In exchange, he asked to prioritize any future favors of his. The merchant could not believe it and was filled with joy. Before leaving, Seo-cheon asks the merchant to spread the word about the tomb everywhere. This news grabs the attention of all the factions and they all prepare to raid it. Meanwhile, Seo-cheon trains Seong-kyu after he has taken the Shaolin drug booster. 1 month has passed and Seo-cheon sees no progress in Seong-kyu. However, he keeps on training him and motivates him to work harder. Seo-cheon is seen training hard to attain the 24 Plum Blossom Sword Art. We see that he decides to learn the intermediary attacks he obtained at the tomb. He then proceeds to burn it. This was to weaken something that'll cause trouble in the future. The Dark Heaven faction and the Lord of the Dark Heaven. It is then explained how strong he was, and with the help of intermediary attacks, he could learn any style of martial arts. Meanwhile, news of Seo-cheon and Seong-kyu being still alive spreads. Seo-cheon decides to prepare himself for the upcoming War of the 7 Blades. It is then explained that this war broke out because of the tomb of the cursed demon. Diverse clashes occurred in the excavation of the grave, which increased with time, leading to a full-fledged war. Seo-cheon plans on stopping this from happening, but just then he hears a familiar voice. It was his master who had come to pick him up. Filled with joy, he hugs him. His master also met Seong-kyu and praised him to be so brave. On the way back, Seo-cheon told everything to his master and now decides to show him his findings. Seo-cheon shows him the booster drug, however, his master asked him to return them to whom they belonged. After reaching the village and meeting the elders and juniors, they found themselves in a trap laid by the supreme master of the River of Evil. He was after Seo-cheon's master. He claimed he would take revenge this time and start attacking violently. A fight has started and Seo-cheon now decides to help his master fight. The Supreme Master poisoned Young-mak and it appears that he would win this fight. But suddenly we see an angry Seo-cheon jumping toward him. He breaks his hand and finishes him in one blow. The poison was the most dangerous one, and it seemed as if the booster drug was not working either. Using a technique, Seo-cheon takes all the toxin in himself and deals with it using internal QI regulation. He resists all the poison, and now the situation has been dealt with. Gyeong-mak is proud of Seo-cheon, and they now head back to Murim. Seo-cheon is then reunited with his junior and senior brothers and sisters who have been waiting for his arrival for a long time. It is seen that everyone is filled with joy upon the return of Seo-cheon. Next, it is shown that the raid has slowed down the factions as it has been more than a year since it started. Seo-cheon's plan worked. 2 years have now passed. Seo-cheon is seen training his heart out. He wants to master the Violet Mist divine arts. However, it is difficult to master even for him. It is seen that he also trains to improve his archery skills. Just then, her junior sister tells him about the Lotus sword competition. It is then explained that the Lotus sword competition is an early custom. It is more of an evaluation to showcase skills. Upon displaying prominent skills, one can be rewarded with a miracle drug or a noted sword. It is also a way to elect the next generations of the Plum Blossom sword arts. Seo-cheon decides to show moderate skills as victory would limit is freedom. In the first fight, Nak easily defeats her opponent. Now Seo-cheon is up against the grandson of the elder. The fight will now begin. Cheol-sam decides to brag and show some exceptional moves. He wants to mock Seo-cheon in front of senior sister Nak. However, even with the intention of not overdoing it, Seo-cheon ended it with one strike. Everyone is amazed. It is seen that after this victory, Seo-cheon faces Nak in battle. However, he forfeits using internal force consumption as an excuse. However, everyone misunderstands him and thought he was caring for her, even his own master and the elders. Next, we see that 4 years have passed, and Seo-cheon is now 18 years old. He has mastered 80% of the Violet Mist divine arts and has grown very strong. It appears he has also developed strong feelings for Nak. He is then called by his master, and something important is told to him. He is then told that after a meeting with the elders, they have decided to send Seo-cheon on a journey to become a saint. He now sets his mind on stopping the war and becoming a saint. He then says that he would require 3 things to get stronger. The first is the Eternal Flame Carp. He heads to the branch of the Golden Merchant Organization. Upon the manager's request, he agrees on escorting them to protect them from the 9 mountain bandits. In the middle of the journey, the carriage is suddenly stopped,
and Seo-cheon encounters someone. What happens next? Subscribe for more.